that good?
It'll do.
It's a little froggy out.
Got some coffee. Mike's on the tunes. We're beating Jim and Tig. We're doing pretty good. Missouri River right here, man. That's sweet. Well, we got the Dodge all caked in clay. Mike lost a wheel well on his Ram. We pulled the clay off it, but this is wheel well folded in half on the back of the tailgate. The thing fell off, but you can see all this stuff here. It's just all that stuff under the truck too. It's all from his tires. Trying to fix that wheel well. This one's the one that popped off from the weight, but stuff just gets caked in there. Look at this. Not even any space between the truck and the back tire. It's crazy.
Well, after that ordeal, now we gotta figure out how to get out of here.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go back the other way. I think it's the safest bet.
To go back the way we came?
Look ahead. Doesn't look like there's an end to sight. We could be driving on this all the way back to the road, like 4 or 5 miles.
Well, you have a map.
I know the road's back. I know the road's back.
I know the road's back.
Should I turn around? Fuck it, I'll just...
It's hard to turn around with all that shit in the tires.
Maybe I'll turn around on here somewhere. We'll see. We'll just drive really slow.
Food dog doesn't like tight turns.
Yeah, I know, but... How do I get this shit off? I don't know. Just a long ways. Look at, like, 90, 90, 90, 90 straight shot south. Right here. At 90s, and then you go turn right on 90 all the way back to the highway. But if we go back up that way, we know it was good up here.
I know the road's back.
We'll see.
The microphone was off for this clip, but I just wanted to share it because we have a little tradition in South Dakota. Before we get out of the truck, we have to rub the shed for good luck. It's a little bit superstitious, but this hunt was a lot harder than we thought on public land with bows. Last year, between 4 of us, none of us filled our tags, but we just had so much fun hunting out here on public land from the ground that we just wanted to come back and do it again.
South Dakota. I think so. Come to it, pull on.
I keep looking over here to the left because there's be a deer popping out of that. The only reason why I'm staying right a little lower on these hills is so I don't get skyline. Just the movement, but we got a long ways to go. This piece isn't that big and the other piece is the same size. Yeah, give me your bow. What do you want me to hold? Camera. Just for a second. I think that might be the same trip. Where's the blood? Just a bunch of baldies. Go on, kid. Go on, kid. Go bring back some bucks. Dude, far away. He's not bad. He's smaller than that 9. He's chasing does. There's some does on that hillside over there. He just put his head down. He's looking up.
We decided to leave the area we were in the day before because all we were seeing was whitetails. Really, we only seen one nice buck, and it really wasn't that big. So we came to a whole nother area a few hours away, and right away in the morning, we had a few mule deer groups around us, and across the street there were some whitetails, but um, at least we were seeing mule deer. We glassed this buck over a half-mile away, but he was still on the public. The only problem was he was only 100 to 150 yards from the public private line, but we decided we were going to try to slip up the bottom and get closer. Once we got in closer, we saw both of these bucks. We think the buck leading in the front is the original buck that we glassed, but then we noticed this monster come out of the bottom behind that buck in the front, and this buck is just an absolute monster. Right now, these bucks are probably 325, 350 yards away. If we had rifles, maybe we could have taken them, but the hillside that we were working on kind of was tapering off, so we just decided that we were going to try to skirt up the bottom and catch up to him that way. While we were slithering up the bottom, we caught some movement up ahead, and this buck just appeared out of nowhere, about 110 yards in front of us. We had no time to react. We just dropped down and set up the camera, got the camera steady on him, and started filming him and deciding what we were going to do. Once we saw this buck bedded down, we knew that it could be a while before he decided to get up. We decided that it was best if Mike looped around to the north and came around on this buck and tried shooting him over the hill. So just to explain a little bit what happened, we were actually slithering our way up this bottom after some bucks that we had glassed previously that we knew were hiding somewhere up in that bottom. And the public land border isn't that far away from where we're at, so we don't have that much space to actually pursue these deer. So if we bump this deer at all, he could be long gone and it could be done. So Mike crawls on his hands and knees to loop around and try to stalk this deer. And it took like 2-3 hours for him to loop on this buck. And when he got in position, he was about 80 yards from the buck. Another buck came out from the bottom that I couldn't see and started chasing a doe, which alerted this buck, and he knew something was up. I thought the deer had busted Mike, but really there was just more going on over the hill that I couldn't even see. I knew Mike had to be pretty close to bow range, but unfortunately the deer was a little out of bow range when he walked by. And just with all the commotion with that other buck chasing a doe, this buck got out of his bed and headed that direction to see what was going on anyways. But that's how it goes when you're hunting with a bow from the ground. It's really challenging, and it's not that easy.
I watched a documentary about like foods, and they gave Japan after like World War II, gave them a bunch of flour
After bombing them?
Yeah, like for like some kind of relief thing. Like just like a ridiculous amounts of flour, and they were like, what the hell do we do with this? Because they're all like rice noodles and everything like that. They ended up making some kind of noodle, and they call it ramen or ramen or whatever they say it.
Joey's coming in. Joe. He doesn't even see him. Joe. Right in front of you, dude. Oh, he's gotta be down in that dip. He can't even see. Oh, he's gotta be in that dip. That's exactly what's going on. There's no way he'd miss that. Joe, what are you doing, dude? Joe. Oh, that is so cool. This is so cool. Come on, Joe.
So just to break down what happened here, the deer's up higher than me in elevation, and then Mike is another 200 yards behind me, and he's higher than both me and the deer. With the different perspectives and different elevations, the deer looks a lot closer than it actually is. In reality, from me to the top of that hill was over 100 yards away, and the deer was beyond the crest of the hill. The point where I actually noticed the deer was at this point right here. It was really funny when Mike showed me the footage because he thought that deer was in bow range, and he was like, why isn't he grabbing his bow? Why isn't he shooting it? So it made for a pretty funny conversation after we met up because he thought that I should be shooting it. In reality, that deer was still probably 200 yards away.
There's 7 deer. One of them is the biggest buck so far. He's like 30 inches inside. Mike, he looks like an elk. Come up here. I can't see him. You're not going to be able to look at the camera, find him with your He's in the thick stuff. We just spotted about 7 mule deer down here. A couple bucks.
nice one Joe's got eyes on.
When I stopped, there was a deer, but it was facing this way. And then when I was glass, and just slowly walked down. What'd you see?
Yeah, deer coming this way. See his white butt to the left? By that lone tree.
Where's he at?
I can't find him. He might have just laid down, Joe, seriously. It's a Mule.
That sucks. In the open. She's facing right at us right now. Waiting game. I can barely see her. Barely. What do you want to do? I want to get a height so we can stay on these deer for a long time. But I don't want to get pegged either, you know what I mean? Like, what's the right move? Stay low and creep it after them, go up high and glass them, or try to loop on them, I don't know. Because if they lay in there, it's going to be hard to see them. Like, we may be like, I don't see anything, we glass, and then we get too close for comfort later on. I would like to be up high, kind of. I think they got to bed eventually because they're feeding.
Get up to those trees right over there. Look back down into that bottom.
Yeah.
And then we can decide if we're going to back out and try to go higher. Yep. We can go way over that hill and try to go over.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get to these. Let's get to these trees.
Alright, doing that. I can see your butt still, I think. Yeah, she's still standing.
Is she bedded or standing?
It looks like she's standing. She's laid down right there, Joe.
Which way is she facing?
She's facing that way.
Okay, that's good.
She laid down right
Only the buck bedded there, facing that way. Looking at that hillside, Mike, that's the shady thing.
Yeah, I know. They got the wind on the other side. Keep looking. I'm trying to get out of this. Out of this. Get down. Oh, shit.
Mike, I'll shoot him if he gets in close.
Sorry for the shaky footage, but just to give you an explanation of what happened. This buck just popped out of the trees that we were going to work our way up towards. Right next to where this buck popped out of the trees, there's actually a pretty steep ditch. So the shakiness comes from when that buck went down in the ditch. We didn't waste any time. Mike made a move to get behind me in some taller grass, and I made a move to get on the hillside that we were on earlier. This is actually the hill right here that we were on earlier that I was trying to get behind. And yeah, as soon as that buck disappeared, me and Mike both made the move. So that way, if he kept coming towards us, we wouldn't get busted, at least until he was right on top of us. Now we're going to play out what happened next.
Watch him, Mike.
I got him. Joe, it's not the one.
He's down, baby. There's a bigger one. Dude, that was insane, dude. Did you film it? It stinks now. It's been rained on for about 10 minutes, but I know the deer's down. There's blood on it. We'll see what it looks like. I know he went down. I watched him, but I'm gonna still take it slow just in case he's still dying. You know what I mean? He should be dead. I watched him in the dirt. In the thick stuff. Dead though. That shot, dude. Oh, buddy. Dude, I'm fired up. That is so sick. That is amazing with a bow on public land. There's bigger ones back here, but he was right there. That's so amazing. Dude, he's in my hands. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. You can... What a shot, Joe. What a shot, eh? Dude, that happened so fast. 1 second. It's still... I've been recording this whole time. Hang on. Oh, he stinks, dude. That looks sick. Crouch down. That's amazing, dude. First mule deer buck ever, yeah, with a bow. With a bow from the ground on public land. Should we put the bow? All right, Joe. Dude, that was so sick. Amazing. We were just about to leave and go all the way around. And when you start running away, I seen you, and I looked and I seen him in this shit right here. I'm like, is that a whitetail buck? Because of the way he was. Yeah, I'm like, just, if you don't wake me up, I'm just gonna sleep.
You go out tonight.
But the funny thing is, almost every other deer in here is bigger than this one. So almost any buck you shoot will be bigger than mine. He's in like the bottom 20%. But hey, dude, but you know how much of a monkey? But you know how much of a monkey that is off my back after hunting out of state as much as I have weeks out of state on public land. Off in your radio right there. Barely fits around there. He's tagged. That's it. I'm done.
Hell yeah, Joe.
Dude, that's pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, that's really sweet. Big. Here's Joe. Yep. Hiking it out.
Yeah. Quite a bit of meat. Got the hide. Got the rack.
Now we got the hike back.
And now I gotta put my bow away for the rest of the week. Can't take my bow out of the case. Gotta leave that there. Gotta leave my trigger release in the truck. It's gonna be kind of weird, but it's gonna be sweet. I mean, I guess it's not a bad problem to have, right? Are you recording?
That's some work. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. You're pulling on it. My foot was on it. I thought you were pulling I stepped on it. Yeah, that's it. Alright. Let me down. We don't play with it. I'm trying to get it. Jumping. I thought you were going to pull it. Joe shot his deer. We had to hang the meat up somehow.
Yep.
That's high enough, huh?
Oh yeah. Yep. Let's go hunting.
Go hunting.
So we hunted for the next 4.5 days trying to fill Mike's tag. We had some pretty close calls, but unfortunately we just couldn't get it done. We walked into multiple different pieces and hunted all day from sun up till sundown, but unfortunately we just couldn't close the distance that we needed to. At one point we got within 80 yards of 2 pretty nice bucks, and at another point we got within 45 yards of a really nice buck that was actually bedded down and sleeping, but a fawn got up and ran away, which alerted the buck, and the buck knew something was up and he didn't like it, and he dipped into the bottom and ran away. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Appreciate a like on the video and a subscribe if you want to support us, and if you're new, check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks, and hunt safe.